There's a prison so hidden, not even the government admits it exists. Inside its walls, rain once turned to blood. And a prisoner showed the warden magic no one should ever know. Inside its towering concrete walls, criminals live in cells where they're given everything they want. Cigarettes, music, food, even television. But there's one rule, an unbreakable rule. No one is ever allowed to step outside their cells. Anyone who tries faces a punishment so absolute, so final, that not a single prisoner has ever dared test it. The punishment is death. One stormy night, as lightning crawled across black clouds, a new prisoner arrived in that hidden prison. He was brought in by 4 guards, his wrists cuffed tight, his eyes scanning every corner as though he already knew this place. He was lean, sharpened, and wore a faint, almost mocking smile. As the cell doors clanged shut, he called for a guard and demanded a cigarette. One of the guards, annoyed but bound by the prison's bizarre generosity, fetched him a pack. The new prisoner lit one up. Smoke curled around his face. Then, without warning, he lunged forward, slipped past the bars, and disappeared into the corridor. For the first time in years, an alarm wailed through the prison. Warden Dharam Singh arrived moments later. He was a giant of a man, a heavy mustache shading his upper lip, eyes like a hawk. The guards dragged the escaped prisoner before him. The prisoner stood calmly, still smoking. He held up the cigarette. "Warden, tell me, what's this?" Warden Dharam Singh frowned. "It's a cigarette. You smoke it. Are you blind?" The prisoner smiled wider. "Good. Then smoke this one." He pulled a different cigarette from his pocket, longer, wrapped in pale silver paper. Dharam Singh snatched it, put it between his lips, and struck a match. But before flame met tobacco, the prisoner's voice sliced the silence. "Stop. That's not the way to light it. Light it from the other end, otherwise it'll explode." For a second, Warden Dharam Singh stared, confused. Slowly, he turned the cigarette around as instructed. A strange, spicy scent wafted from it, unlike any tobacco he'd smelled before. Instead of punishing the prisoner, Warden Dharam Singh found himself intrigued. That night, guards saw something they'd never seen, the warden sharing cigarettes and laughter with the new prisoner. Soon, the man was no longer confined to his cell. He roamed the prison freely, speaking with guards, even sitting in the warden's office during long, rainy nights. It was on one such rain-soaked night that the prisoner leaned closer to Warden Dharam Singh and whispered, "Warden, do you want to see some magic?" The warden, half amused, half curious, nodded. The prisoner knelt on the concrete floor and began drawing strange symbols in chalk, spirals, lines intersecting, circles within circles. His fingers moved fast, as if he'd drawn them 1,000 times. When he finished, he erased the symbols and said, "Now, you try." The warden hesitated, then bent down and started recreating the symbols, line by line, stroke by stroke. And that's when the rain outside began to change. At first, it was only a louder drumming on the roof. Then the rain turned thick, dark. Through the barred windows, streams of rain glowed red, as though blood fell from the sky. Outside, puddles formed into swirling pools, reflecting a crimson sheen. From the rain, shapes emerged. Skeletal figures began to rise, bones knitting together. A massive skull with hollow eyes appeared, dripping red water, its bony hands scraping the floor for more bones to devour. Bits of bone rattled and rolled like dice, sucked upward into the skull's gaping mouth. The skull chewed greedily, its jaw clicking and splintering. Warden Dharam Singh stumbled back, heart pounding. What the hell is this? The prisoner stood calmly beside him. "If you want it to stop, erase your drawing." The warden fell to his knees, clawing at the chalk lines. As he wiped each line away, the monstrous crimson rain began to fade. Bit by bit, the blood-like torrents thinned to a gentle drizzle. The skull dissolved into mist. The puddles lost their red glow. When he was done, only normal rain tapped the roof once more. The prisoner clapped the warden's shoulder, grinning. "See magic." Warden Dharam Singh, pale and shaking, stared at him. "Where did you learn this?" The prisoner only smiled and stepped outside. They walked into the corridor, rain still pattering outside. The warden tried to light another cigarette, hands trembling. Then, without warning, the air vibrated like a tuning fork. A brilliant blue glow burst from nowhere, spilling down a wall like a vertical waterfall. It wasn't water. It was thicker, like liquid glass. And it swept forward, crashing over the warden's chest. He screamed as the blue cascade wrapped around him. His uniform hissed and steamed where the liquid touched it. The warden fell to his knees, gasping, feeling pain like thousands of tiny needles burrowing into his skin. "Help!" The prisoner stepped forward, utterly calm. He reached into the blue torrent and scooped out a shimmering blob like a chunk of living jelly. It writhed in his hand, glowing electric blue. Slowly, it shrank and hardened into a small crystalline pebble. Instantly, the waterfall vanished. No trace remained, no water on the floor, no glow. The warden, panting, slumped against the wall, his shirt soaked, but his skin unharmed. The prisoner dropped the crystalline pebble into his pocket and said, "Not everything that looks like water is water." After that night, the prison changed. The guards no longer whispered about executing prisoners who broke the rules. The warden seemed older, quieter, and never again tried to punish the man who'd once been a prisoner. And sometimes, on stormy nights, crimson rain is said to fall outside those hidden walls. Nobody knows the true name of the man who arrived that night. But those who remember him say he was the only one who ever escaped, without ever leaving. So remember, some prisons have walls of concrete and steel. Oh, but the worst ones are built in the mind, where rules can be bent, reality can bleed, and the only escape might cost more than freedom itself. Sleep well tonight, and be careful what you choose to draw.